Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at another one of the posts on the Korean Mabinogi Eternity project site. So I would like to talk about texture production during the process of remodeling Turconail, where Militians will live. If you change the engine to Unreal, the background graphics will have to get better. Wouldn't it be possible to make it respond to real-time light by adding normal, roughness, and specular so that the characteristics of each material stand out? I'll make all the backgrounds you've wanted to make for a while. The will to create a truly fantastic background was sparked. However, our Mabinogi isn't like this. I worked too hard on sculpting using graphics tools, but it didn't have the hardwood feel that Mabi has. When I strengthened the normal, realizing low polygons with the three-dimensional effect of high polygons, the clear feeling typical of Mabi did not appear. However, I gathered my courage and went back to the beginning and thought about what elements determine the characteristics of Mabinogi's background. Mabinogi is a cartoon graphic. The flat feel of the environment setting creates a unique 2D feel, and the diffuse texture has strong contrast to bring out the sense of mass. The sense of shape and proportion of the background had a simpler and more casual feel than the realistic proportions. On the other hand, the texture was closer to real life than expected. In these cases, Mabinogi's background identity was being added. So here's a good example of like the wooden textures being showed well. And then Avalon clearly shows like stone texture. This was it. More than anything, I realized that texture plays a big role. The unique, clean, and organized feeling comes from the texture. So, I tried creating the texture right away. First, create a shape. To what extent should sculpting using graphics tools be done? In sculpting shaping using graphic tools, I decided to neatly process large chunks and edges and only add large cracks to the wood texture. Work efficiency is also important, so the wood grain feel was created using alpha in the tool. So here you can see, like, this is the door to Duncan's house, and this is like the window. We've all seen the preview of his house in Unreal Engine. Second, create a diffuse base color of the object texture. In the past, texture creation was created by combining photo textures with Photoshop or drawing them directly. Nowadays, several tools such as ZBrush and Substance are used. Looking at the Mabinogi texture, we could see that it was close to real life and had a high density. It has a semi-realistic feel that has been processed through photo texture synthesis or stylized texture with high detail. Since it was produced 20 years ago, it had a strong feel of a photo composite hand mat. To reflect these aspects, using the production tool, we used the wood grain texture as a base and built it up one by one. Use the sharpen filter sharpening effect to express highlights and depicted parts more clearly. In particular, care must be taken when creating high polygons to clearly express highlights and shading at the edges. And this looks pretty cool. You can like see how in this picture like the wood is like changing. That looks really cool. And here you can see the front of Duncan's house again. This was it. Although the road was difficult, I was very proud that I had laid the foundation for transferring Mabinogi's style to the new engine. Yeah, it's very important Mabinogi has the same style, and this guy did really good work on this. Like, this isn't easy to do. So on the left we have existing resources, so the resources from Pleon Engine, and on the right we have the Unreal Engine resources. So this is the church in Pleon Engine and the bank in Pleon Engine, and this is the church in Unreal Engine and the bank in Unreal Engine. Making the tiles was also difficult. The tiles also used a texture that was close to real life and had a high density. Think of it as a semi-realistic texture with a processed feel through compositing from a photo texture or a stylized texture with high detail. I tested it out in two ways. Processed through Substance Designer texture creation tool for soil and grass, you can see it here, and photo plus PRB, so physically based rendering, resource synthesis for the soil and grass, so you can see like the two differences between these pictures. How to create a Substance Designer from a stylized feel to a more realistic depiction. Advantage: as work resources accumulate, you can quickly work with tiles with a different feel by reorganizing and recycling nodes. Disadvantage: it takes time to express photo-like details. And photo texture and PRB resource plus Substance Designer and Sampler equals composite. The work speed is fast. Disadvantages is it requires reliance on photo resources, so expressions are limited. So here's another cool picture of Cherconale Town Square. This is kind of cool because now we have a closer look at the actual town square area that a lot of us have spent a lot of time being AFK in. So I like the wood that they decided to add here. That wasn't here before. It used to just be all stone. It looks like they added like wood right here and like the four corners. I think that's to make it feel a little bit more like a bench. And you can also see like the brick right there. That looks cool. And you can see some brick over there too. Overall, I think they did a really good job with this. This looks like Town Square. It feels good. We can see everything appearing. We can see all the trees appearing, all the buildings and fences, the water, the dock for fishing. Let's go right to here. This is our first real look at like Cherconale as a whole. The only thing we really can't see is Fergus's shop. So there's the healer's house way over there. That's going to be the graveyard. I would love to see some close-ups of what the graveyard is going to look like. Looking back, a lot of things happened. There's still a lot to do, but the style has been established. This is how the background graphics of Mabinogi Eternity are being produced. So this was an interesting post to read. I'm definitely glad that they're interested in capturing Mabinogi's style and making it feel like the same game. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the Mabinogi Eternity section on the Korean website. And today we're going to be looking at For Silky Militian Hair. So, hello, this is Developer K. I would like to talk about the process of applying physics-based animation to bring life to the hair of Militians. In the beginning, there was a skeleton, so this is a skeleton of a Militian. The screenshot above is of the skeleton omitted for illustration purposes. In the actual game, more skeletons are used for various movements. Traditional animation techniques for creating character movement include: there's a basic skeleton for the character, and the key animation which moves the skeleton in XYZ direction and adds a key to each frame is common. For example, let's consider the motion called walking. Since the legs must move back and forth, the thigh, calf, foot, and toe bones must be moved each frame to set the height, left foot, right foot, respectively. Of course, let's move the arms naturally too. Let's set the height by moving the upper arm, forearm, and hand skeletons each frame. For natural movement, the body also needs to be in rhythm. So pelvis, spine, neck, etc. Walking was used as an example, but in Mabinogi, all character movements are performed in the same manner as above. It is a key animation method that holds the key by moving the position of the skeleton for each frame. The motions of various skills, the motions of actions, etc., all movements. When the above skeleton moves, the attached modeling should also move along with it, right? The work done to achieve this is called rigging and skinning. Connect each vortex of modeling to the skeleton rigging and set the skeleton by giving weights that will be affected by its movement skinning. This allows the attached modeling skin to stretch or shrink when the skeleton moves. Since the basic skeleton of the character is shared, even if the modeling is changed, if the skinning is done properly, the animation operates normally. So hair animation, let's take an example of a ponytail. It is said that animation must be added to the ponytail hair with all key animation data created based on the basic skeleton described above. First, we need to add a skeleton for the ponytail for movement to the basic skeleton. So here you can see the picture for an example. Now all you have to do is add a key for the movement of the additional skeleton for the ponytail to the animations you previously created for character movement. In all character animations 13,586, the key of the skeleton added for the ponytail must be adjusted step by step. So here's all the steps. As the hair bones continue to be added to the base bone, rigging and skinning problems also arise. So, separation of the hair skeleton. Before something like the above becomes difficult just by imagining it, let's separate the hair skeleton from the basic skeleton. Leave the existing basic skeleton and animation data as is and create a separate skeleton for the hair. Let's use the ponytail as an example again. Let's create a separate hair skeleton like this and create a separate animation for the ponytail that will run simultaneously with the existing animation. At this time, when the walking animation of the basic skeleton is executed, the walking animation of the ponytail skeleton is also executed at the same time. The animation operates separately on the two skeletons, but the result looks like one movement. Of course, for this it is necessary to adjust the frame length of both animations and keep adjusting them based on the basic skeleton animation so that the hair does not stick out too much. Separating the skeleton only solves problems in the rigging and skinning process compared to adding a hair skeleton to the basic skeleton. The process for creating a key animation corresponding to all existing animations is the same. Currently, in the case of moving wigs and hair Mabinogi, the skeleton is separated for each hair mesh and a key animation is created and applied in response to the motion applied to the existing basic skeleton. Physics-based animation. What is physics animation? It has physical properties such as mass, inertia, damping, and elasticity. This refers to animation that is simulated to produce results similar to everyday physical phenomena. In short, if you set various conditions, movement is automatically created according to the physical phenomena. If you just listen to the exclamation, there is no need to specify the position for the skeleton for each frame like in the existing key animation. It sounds like a technology that naturally and automatically simulates the position of the skeleton. In reality, there are many things to consider in order to express natural movement. Let's use the ponytail as an example again. Even in motion, in place, in motion that moves and runs, or in motion with high acceleration, the simulation should come out not moving as if it's bouncing too much, right? In small movements, there is little response to external factors, so it is difficult to express the ponytail's movements in detail. On the other hand, with large movements, acceleration or collisions can make the simulation unstable, causing the movement to appear inaccurate. To respond to these problems, adjust the parameters of the physics simulation, or adjustments to the magnitude and direction of the motion are required. Nevertheless, there are cases where it is not possible to satisfy both extreme situations of small motion and large motion. Initial physics-based animation test appearance, so that's this here. So 1, no physical animation, and 2, small physical animation movement, and 3, large physical animation movement. So you can see here how the hair isn't moving at all when the character moves, and you can see here how it's moving a little bit when the character moves, and in 3 you can see how the hair is moving a lot when the character moves. For the flowing Malaysian hair, the key animation and physics-based animation introduced above are all research and development processes for the flowing Malaysian hair. In addition, there are various contents such as combination of key animation and physics-based animation, retargeting system, etc. We will cover related content in the next costume animation, the 4-pointed skirt action. Okay, we will cover related content in the next costume animation. The 4-pointed skirt is actually. As the journey of the Mabinogi Eternity project continues, Malaysian's hair will become even more luscious. Okay, so this is good. So they are working on hair movement in this part of the update. Okay, so we'll be looking at another part of the Mabinogi Eternity section on the Korean website. So the 4-point skirt is actually... So we develop with Unreal Engine, so of course the skirt will naturally flow, right? This time we will focus on expressing natural movement in costume animation, especially skirt-shaped costumes. Let me introduce you to the animation-related R&D process. Let's briefly recall the key animation and rigging and skinning introduced in the hair animation section. Key animation holds the key by moving the position of the skeleton for each frame. Rigging and skinning connect each vertex of the modeling to the skeleton rigging and give the skeleton a weight to be affected by its movement, skinning. 4-point skirt, not bulletproof. Taking the popo skirt as an example, the skirt hem of the popo skirt is rigged and skinned to the leg bones. So when the legs move due to the key animation, the attached skirt moves together. So what should I do to make the skirt part of the 4-point skirt move separately? You just need to create an additional skeleton to move the skirt and set a separate key animation. Volitions who have seen the hair animation process will have already noticed, but there is a problem. So they're just saying the same, they're just using the hair example here. If this continues, the skeleton will continue to proliferate as each costume has a different shape. However, this is a problem I have already experienced once with hair animation. Just apply the same solution as hair animation. So, cloth simulation. It is a type of physics-based animation that was previously introduced in hair animation. It refers to a technology that imitates the motion of flexible materials such as clothing or fabric. What makes hair animation different from physically based animation is that cloth simulation movements do not require a skeleton. Of course, since physical calculations are performed at the vertex level instead, it is bound to be heavy in terms of performance. What if we combined Mabinogi with cloth simulation, which is excellent for expressing the smooth movement of fabric? I started applying the cloth simulation by imagining the possum skirt I was wearing swaying in the air every time I walked. The problem is form. A problem occurred during testing with various types of skirts: short skirt, long skirt, wide skirt, narrow skirt. By rigging and skinning, there are no parts that can be stretched beyond the original form of the modeling. As physics calculations were performed at the vertex level, side effects occurred, such as legs going through the skirt or the bottom of the skirt being rolled up. Of course, there is room for improvement by setting additional physical properties and increasing the amount of computation. It was difficult to expect natural movement in long and narrow skirts. If you attach a skeleton as before, rig it, skin it, and then use the key animation to move it, the mesh will stretch beyond its existing shape. The movement of the flowing skirt that was initially thought is moving further away. Physics simulation again. As applied in previous hair, a separate skeleton for the skirt was created, separated from the basic skeleton, and attached to the skeleton for the skirt. A method of applying physics simulation was introduced. The basic skeleton of the character is used to control the character's movement. This skeleton determines the overall movement of the character and handles the basic animations such as walking, running, jumping, etc. The skeleton for the skirt is responsible for simulating the physics of the skirt parts, used to represent the movement of the skirt more realistically. Physics-based animation calculates the movement of the skirt by considering physical factors such as gravity, air resistance, and external interference. For example, when a character moves quickly, the effect of a skirt blowing in the wind is physically simulated. The physical effects make the game character's motion feel more lifelike and realistic. By combining these two separate skeletal systems, the overall movement of the character utilizes traditional animation techniques, while the movement of one particular part, the skirt, is expressed more naturally through physics-based form. However, there were problems with applying physics-based animation. In small movements, there is less response to external factors. The movement of the skirt is difficult to express in detail. On the other hand, with large movements, acceleration or collisions make the simulation unstable, causing the movement to appear inaccurate. To respond to these problems, it is necessary to adjust the parameters of the physics simulation or adjust the size and direction of motion. There were limits to the physical simulation results appearing natural in all movements. Combination of key animation and physics simulation. To solve the problem, key animation was applied to the skeleton at the beginning of the chain in the chain-shaped skirt skeleton. This ensures that movement at the top of the skirt is reliably controlled by key animation. We apply physics-based animation to the remaining bones of the skirt, propagating physical movement based on the key animation movement of the top bone. Through this, it has become a form that can satisfy both stability in large motions and movement in small motions. The problem is that you need to separate the skeletons for all skirt-shaped meshes and set key animations for each skeleton for each mesh. To solve this, we used Unreal's retargeting function. Utilize retargeting system. To increase efficiency, add a skirt bone to the basic torso skeleton. Using this, we used Unreal's retargeting system in the process of applying key animation to the top bone of the skirt. Add the skirt's armature to the main torso armature. This integrates the skirt and bodice bones into one frame. Apply key animation to the skirt bone added to the basic torso bone. The animation will control the movement of the top part of the skirt. Using Unreal's retargeting system, skirts of various shapes, long skirts, short skirts, skirts with one side long, skirts with different waistlines, starting points, allows you to correspond to the movements of the basic torso skeleton. Through this, the movement of the upper part of the skirt is moved by the key animation of the skirt bone of the basic torso skeleton, and the remaining parts are moved by the animation key of the skirt bone of the basic body skeleton. Each skirt is moved by a physics simulation of the skeleton connected to the mesh. Using a retargeting system, we efficiently integrate the structure of the existing torso skeleton and the newly added skirt bone. It was effective in combining animations for various parts by flexibly constructing the character's skeleton. So you can see in this image here, retargeting results, light blue basic skeleton, blue skirt mesh skeleton. Okay, so yeah, the light blue here is like the basic skeleton, and then the dark blue here, the normal blue, is the skirt mesh skeleton. We may not be satisfied with all forms, but we will find the answer. As always, below is a temporary modeling resource for testing that was used in the early R&D process. Key animation, torso skeleton plus upper skirt skeleton, physical animation, skirt lower skeleton, combination result. So here you can see those images. The 4-point skirt was actually a skirt that moved in the air. All of the content introduced above was a process to express the natural movement of the 4-point skirt. Although cloth animation has not been applied to cloth skirts, research is underway to apply it to cloaks and certain types of mesh. In addition, various research is underway to improve the natural motion of clothing using a new engine. Alright, let's stream some Mabinogi today. All the events start up tomorrow. So let's see. I know one thing I'm gonna do. We're gonna start an herb garden today. I finally got that last expansion done on my homestead. So I'm gonna go to Xanafiedlion's homestead and steal some of his herbs. Who picks up herbs? The fox? Yeah. Let's go ahead and summon him. And get the Flora Fairy out here too. And use Harvest Song. Oh, and let's use Phantasmal Sight as well, since we also have that. Oh, that's cool. It has little icons hovering over the herb patches that it affects. Interesting. Okay, let's use the gold herb once. Okay, so we got gold herbs, sunlight herbs. Let's go ahead and get some bloody herbs. Okay, so we can use Phantasmal Sight again. Let's use that and do some more farming over here. Alright, that took a while. But I finally cleaned out this entire herb garden, which will all refresh at midnight anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But, now Xanafiedlion can start an herb garden. Had to mute myself for a little bit because I had to take, like, a phone call. Alright, let's go to Xanafiedlion's homestead and start planting some herbs here, so... Wait, how many base herbs do I have? I should have over 100 base herbs. There's 17. There's gotta be a lot more than 17, though. Where'd the rest of them go off to? They're probably right in front of me. Maybe they're in another inventory. Maybe I have like another stack. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna do Xanafiedlion's herb garden in a very similar way to Neko's, just to keep it kind of simple. Oh, I need homestead stone to do that. Maybe I won't do that today after all. Might do that tomorrow then. I forgot that also requires homestead stone, so... Okay. We'll worry about that part later. Let's go ahead and cancel the summon, and let's find out what the veteran dungeon is today, and go do that. I'd need 580k to process all those smoldering threads, and we have like 100k of that, so that's good. I'll get 10 of them done. Let's go get our veteran dungeon pass. Albi dungeon. And what's the normal dungeon? What are these guys selling? Oh, so that would be for like a catering skill or something. That's cool. That fishing chair is from the first ice fishing event. Still a pretty cool chair. Daily dungeon, what do we got? Yaka dungeon, so I probably won't do that. Okay, so we have Albi dungeon for the veteran dungeon. What do we have for shadow missions? Provocation and what? Sniper war. We can do sniper war. I'll do that. Alright, let's go do Albi first. And dual guns and staff. Oh, whoops. Somehow my staff got put where my spear is supposed to go. A little bit of a mix-up. Now let's make sure I have the right Arcana selected. Yeah, we want to have Arsenal Gunner active here. Where's that veteran pass? Yeah, let's drop that. And pull out these two. And pull up our stats. Status list. I like keeping that up with this one so I can see how long Gunner's Crest has. Oh, wait, wrong bar. There we go. That's really interesting timing that right when I started doing Albi Dungeon, the Albi Dungeon track on my playlist popped up. Because I don't have the in-game music on. I use like playlists that have Mabinogi music, so the coincidence is pretty funny. Okay, so we're going this way. Oh wait, we were just in here, so we go this way. Alright, let's get this giant spider with like 6 meteors. There's the first one. And 5 more. Yeah, it took out most of its health. Let's do that. Alright, let's go ahead and use this. And this. Oh, didn't even survive more than one shot there. There, 17 minutes and 19 seconds. Open that up. Smoldering thread. Spirit gems. A gem. Alright. That was good. How long do I have before this thread expires? Okay. So we don't need to really get through all of it today. Let's go do Sniper War next in Tara. It's gonna be the next thing we do. For some gold. Let's see if I can pull some elite passes. Random items. Let's clear out any crap that's expired. Just those? Sure. And let's magnet all that up. What can I use those seals on? And give a skill like 20 points. Let's use one on glyph evocation. Yeah, okay. So... Yuki Otaku, welcome in. So now that skill should have 30 points, and then I think we can AP train it the rest of the way. I'm not sure how well that works with skills. Okay, good, that'll work out. Glyph skills are really annoying to level. What else is there? Maybe one of the pet skills. I still need to learn the bead burnishing skill. That one I'll need a bunch of stuff. In fact, do I have the quest for that? I think I do. Like that should be... Okay. Maybe after this shadow mission I'll go to the Magmel and get that bead burnishing skill. I don't remember like how much work it is to get this quest done. I think I've only done this quest like once or twice. Actually leveling the skill is a pain in the butt. I think most people just use like training seals to get bead burnishing up to rank 1. In fact, I remember when the pet talent first came out, there was actually like a glitch with the bead burnishing skill preventing like an event from working correctly, so they just ended up giving us like a bunch of event coins for free or whatever because of that glitch. Sniper War. Let's do that on Elite. Yeah, even on Elite, this mission is like overly easy. Even like just the normal standard gun attacks with no skills is pretty much enough. Well, the barriers have a little bit of defense behind them, but not much. This is why shadow missions need like a veteran difficulty. This is too easy. Wait, not the boss. I want to get that guy first. Oh, well at least he survived 2 shots. If I had 1 shot him with the sniper rifle. Spirit gems. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check on my spirit weapon stuff real quick, and then we're gonna go to the Magmel and do that quest for the bead burnishing skill, because I've been putting that off for who knows how long, so might as well learn it. Let's check on spirit weapons real quick. Gotta build up that bond with the spirit weapon. Oh good, this one we can max out the bond on, so we can level this one up. And then raise it by 20 more. Give him a little bit of XP. I don't want to level him until I get the bond to 100, but we can at least get close to that. And 30 on this one. Okay, so I can level up a bunch of my spirit weapons tomorrow then. And then these 3 are max level already, and this one's max level too. cancel these 2 summons for now. And yeah, let's go to the Magmel. Normally you have to go through like Fiat Dungeon's lobby to get there. I think the dungeon guide will also take you to the Magmel, but I have a warp imp saved there, so we'll use that. Yeah, this one, Magmel. So the quest we're going to be working on is the Light Within the Ore. This is the skill quest to learn the bead burnishing skill. Oh, I guess I talked to her for another quest just now. Here we go. Which one is the hardest to do? I would say fin crafting is probably the most complicated because you have to get all the materials and stuff. Fin blossoming is pretty easy. Catching finny gems is pretty easy. Okay, perform bead burnishing. I don't even remember how most of this works because I AP trained most of it in the past. And used like skill training seals and stuff. So let's take all this off. So I think I need the feathery fin bell thing equipped. Probably. And where's that bead burnishing skill at? Is it at the very bottom because it's new? No? Oh, yeah, right here near the bottom. Wait a minute, WASD to infuse the power. Okay, well that was a complete failure. Did we at least get the quest requirement thing done? No. Okay, so... I guess we have to do that successfully. Oh cool, we get a practice one if we fail. Is that how that works? Because I remember the first time I failed at it too, and it didn't give us another practice one. It was just consumed, and then you had to like buy another one from the auction house or find one or something. So it's cool that this practice one actually gives you multiple attempts. Oh, it's like that dumb stirring minigame in that one Halloween event when you're doing like a stirring thing with the cauldron with the WASD thing. Wow, that's really annoying. Okay, well at least we did it. So after talking to Ketel, we just have to talk to Pinky again, and then we're done. Alright, and that quest is done. Nice. So we finally have that last pet training skill. Put that over here. And bead burnishing. I think it's still near the bottom. Oh wait, how much progress have I made on this? I still have to train this up, I just don't really use my Gen 2 transformation, so I don't really remember to like train up these skills. that's better. And then the bead burnishing skill. So work on that later. Yeah, so what's unlearned anyway? Like, what skills do I need to get? We don't have taunt. Talk to Tons and Veils. Sure, let's learn that. Taunt might be a giant only skill. Let's hop on over to Veils. And we want to ask him about skills. Yeah, that's the quest. So what do we have to do? White snowfield bears. I'm not even sure where those hang out around here, so we'll have to fly around and find them. Let's use a Nimbus for that. Like if we just fly low, that should work. I mean, we got reindeer. And wargs. Maybe the bears hang out closer to Silva Forest. Foxes. Just not 100% sure where they are. Oh, here we go. But they need to be white snowfield bears. Alright, well, when in doubt, check the wiki. So that's what I'm gonna do. They spawn alongside the Yeti. Okay, so this is the Yeti like a raid boss? Like a field raid boss? Is that the only time they spawn? Okay, really quick, I'll be right back and then I'll read all this. Okay, yeah, so it looks like this guy is a field boss. So, what times does he show up? Wait a minute, what time is it now? 5:37. So maybe he's actually here. 6 p.m. Okay. Maybe I can find him. And what area is he in? Northwest Silver Forest. Wait, so this guy has multiple different spawn locations? Okay. I'll check out Silver Forest then. Oh, wait a minute. The thing is telling me to go here to the valley. My pet summon will get cancelled if I get too close to the Yeti and into his zone, so we'll just see if he actually does show up around here or not. Wait, where is it supposed to be? Oh, a little bit further down, okay. Oh, here's some white snowfield bears. Okay, so some of them do appear like outside of the field boss then. Nice. It's actually funny that I didn't know these guys were here because I passed by them all the time when I commerced through this area. I just didn't pay enough attention to what type of bears they were. Hang on a second. Let's equip our dream catcher. Where's that at? Because I need points on these guys too. Might as well get that done. One thing I don't like playing when I'm playing as a giant is Final Strike. I think Final Strike is a very cool skill, but Final Strike only works with like blunt weapons. It doesn't work with knuckles or anything like that. But like Final Hit actually works with like that works with just about any close range weapon. That works with knuckles, that works with dream catchers. So like Final Hit is definitely better if you have like a dream catcher equipped and you're just trying to dash around the room and get points. There's actually a lot of bears out. I wonder if the Yeti's actually here. Hey, cool, we finished collecting all the points. Wait, is the Yeti out here? I'll try fighting him if he is. Nah, I'm not seeing him. Let's go and put this back over here. And go back to Tom's. Let's fly. It's easier to fly in the Vales. Alright, we'll work on the rest of this later. Am I a little bit shorter than the giant guards? I have about the same height. A little bit shorter. I'd probably be about their height if I was wearing my other shoes. Okay, let's go back to Tara. We'll do the VIP Shadow mission too. We're gonna do the Shadowcast City one. That's the VIP one. And we'll use my staff for that. We're gonna use Dark Diviner. Or actually, I don't even think I need to use Dark Diviner. We'll just use magic. That's fine. Dark Diviner is a little overkill for that. I don't think I have another Elite Pass, so I think I'll just do that one on hard mode. Yeah, okay. So let's do Shadowcast City on hard mode. That'll be enough. We'll use a Shadow Crystal too. And then after that, I'll make as many crests as I can with my Smoldering Thread. Tomorrow will be the bigger day. We'll have more events starting, and we'll have Near Tight to use up. So that'll be the bigger day for like doing lots of runs and making gold and getting into events. Oh, and I need someone to pick all this crap up. We'll have that one do it. Oh, that was easy. The gold ones will have more fight than the silver ones. Okay, meteor. Done. 385k gold, that's not too bad. So let's go make some crests. Go to the association room. And make as many as I can. $380, right? Yeah. So we can use up 38 of the 62 smoldering thread that I have. Alright, and we're going to wrap things up right around here for today. So today's stream is going to be a little bit shorter because I have some stuff that I need to take care of, unfortunately. Some stuff that came up. So tomorrow's stream will be a bit longer. We're going to do a lot of tech runs, start the new events, all that fun stuff. Luckily today was a pretty good day for me to get busy with other stuff because there's not a lot going on in Mabinogi right now. All the events start tomorrow, so that's... at least the timing's good, right? But, yeah, tomorrow's schedule will be Contraband Police from, like, noon to 3, like it always is. I do that on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. And then Mabinogi every day at 4. So... we'll be doing Mabinogi.